Hello, and welcome to my summary of the tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, or just Hamlet, because Shakespeare was super extra when he titled the play, I guess. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so we start off with our dude Hamlet right here. He is Prince of Denmark, and he actually was in England studying, but he returned to Denmark because he found out that his dad, who is the king of Denmark, has actually just died. So he's dead. So his mom, this is his mom, Queen Gertrude, she is like, oh my God, I don't have like a husband anymore. This is so crazy. So what she does in a crazy turn of events is the dead king's brother, she marries him. So now Hamlet's paternal uncle is now the king of Denmark instead of him, which is not the way that the line of succession works. So I don't know what they're doing over there in Denmark. Okay, so anyway, dad's out of the picture, right? Okay, dad's dead. And we have Uncle Dad over here, who is now the king. So we have Mom and Uncle Dad. And Hamlet, obviously hearing that like his dad just died like 2 months earlier and his mom is already remarried to not just a random person but like his uncle, that makes him really upset. So he's sad, right? Because he is not the king right now. He's just the Prince of Denmark. So, and then while this is happening, they're in Elsinore Castle, which is like the castle in Denmark, I think. That's kind of like a church, but pretend it's Elsinore Castle. So there are like a bunch of guards, and they've been seeing like this ghost figure, and they're like really scared. They're like, we don't know what the fuck's going on. So all these guards over here are like, oh my God, there's a ghost, and woo, it's scaring us. And they don't know what it is. But Hamlet's back in town, right? So all these guards tell Hamlet about the ghost that they've got going on, and they're super scared about it. So then Hamlet goes to talk to the ghost. Turns out the ghost is of his dad. And his dad tells him, he's like, oh my God, son, my brother killed me in order to get the throne, and now you have to avenge my death. And Hamlet's like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. So what they do is Hamlet like, he devises a plan. All right, that's a little light bulb above his head. So he devises a plan. So what he does is he goes to these actors and he's like, okay guys, I need you to perform a play where my dad gets killed by my uncle. And they're just like, what? But then they end up doing it because it's like the Prince of Denmark has asked you to do something and you're gonna do it. So like they do that, and the play goes really well. Here they are in the little theater, and they're dancing, having a good time, everything like that. And then in the play, one of the characters who is representing Hamlet's dad gets killed by his brother, and then his uncle in real life, who was watching the play, is like, oh my God, this is terrible, I fucking hate this, storms out. And then that tells Hamlet, he's like, oh my God, my uncle killed my father in real life, so he like actually has to avenge his death now. Also, I should note that like Hamlet doesn't make any decisions in the entire play, and it's just like, what the fuck is he doing? But he takes like several monologues to like get to the point of what he's trying to say to do. Like, bro just takes a really long time. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. But he's like, oh my God, my uncle killed my dad, I do avenge his death. Okay. And then also at this time, there's this other dude, Polonius, and he has 2 kids. He has a son, who I forget his name, and then he has a daughter who is Ophelia. Ophelia, right? So Ophelia and Hamlet kind of have like they got a history going, like they're kind of in love a little bit. And Ophelia is like super star-stricken with Hamlet. She's like, oh my God, I love him so much, and he was away in England, and I'm so happy he's back because I get to love him again. And then, meanwhile, Hamlet is going through a mental breakdown because he's like, oh my God, my dad's dead. My mom remarried my uncle 2 months later, and my uncle killed my father, and now I have to fathom like all of these different things that are happening all at once. So he's not really concerned with Ophelia, and he actually, there's a scene where he like yells at her and tells her to like go to a nunnery. Don't know what that's about. That's really weird. And then, so like, okay, back to the play. So after the play ends, Hamlet's uncle like leaves. He's like so fed up. And then Hamlet and his mom go to like her like little room thing, and they're like having an argument. Like they are yelling at each other, da da da. And then what Hamlet doesn't know is that behind the curtains back here, who do we see? But Polonius. So Polonius is hiding behind the curtains, trying to eavesdrop on him to get the news back to Uncle Dad. And then Hamlet gets so upset that he grabs his sword. It's a sword right here, and he stabs Polonius, and there's blood everywhere. And oh my God, it's terrible. And then, because Hamlet thought that Polonius was Uncle Dad, so he was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill Uncle Dad. And then he just kills Polonius, and now Polonius is dead, so he's out of the picture. And then Ophelia hears of Polonius dying, and then she starts going crazy, and she's like, oh my God, Hamlet, you're so terrible, like you killed my dad, da 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 da. And eventually she like goes insane, and she has a mental breakdown, and she kills herself. She drowns herself in the river, which is like really poetic and beautiful, but like also terrible. So now Polonius is dead, Ophelia is dead, right? And Hamlet's like, I don't know what to do. So remember Polonius? Oh shit, that's not Polonius, that's his son. Okay, this is gonna be Polonius' son. Okay, so no, remember Polonius' son from earlier? So he gets news that his dad and his sister are dead, and he is really pissed off about that. So then he goes to Uncle Dad, the king, and he's like, I want to get revenge on Hamlet, and Uncle Dad is like, yeah, fuck that guy. So then he coordinates a duel. So Hamlet and Polonius' son will have a duel. Right? These are their swords right here. Okay, that's the duel that they're having. And what Uncle Dad does is he gives Polonius' son like a poisoned like sword. So when he stabs Hamlet, he'll be like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm poisoned. And it's really dramatic and terrible. But like before they end up doing that, so this is all going on in the works, right? And then Hamlet, where is Hamlet? He's over here. So I don't know if you're gonna have enough room to see. Okay. So then Hamlet and his friends Guildenstern and Rosencrantz and Guildenstein or whatever. So him and his two buddies go to this graveyard, right? And they're like, this is where they meet like the grave robbers, and this is where the alas, poor Yorick, for I knew him well. That's where this happens. I can't remember how they got here, but they're here. So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz and Hamlet are all in the graveyard, and then they see like a funeral procession, and who do they see in the casket but Ophelia? And this causes Hamlet to get really upset. He's like, what the fuck happened? Like, I thought everything was fine, but like Ophelia's dead now and everything's terrible. So then he goes back to the duel, right? And he's doing the duel and da-da-da-da, but like Hamlet doesn't know that Polonius' son's sword is like, it's rigged, like this whole duel is rigged, right? And then, so they fight and da-da-da-da, and Hamlet ends up like switching swords with Polonius' son, and then Hamlet stabs Polonius' son, and he's like, oh, the poison, the rig, oh God. So he's dead too now. And then Hamlet gets so angry that he goes to his Uncle Dad, and he's like, fuck you, and he stabs him with the poison sword, and he's like, oh God, And then, before the duel even started, there was this chalice that was full of like poison wine, and then his mom, the queen, ends up drinking it, and she's like, I need to drink my drink because it's for Hamlet, and oh my God, and then so she dies because she poisons herself, and then Hamlet stabs Uncle Dad, and then Hamlet makes Uncle Dad drink the poison, dead now. And then, oh my God. And then so like all of this stuff is happening, and Hamlet ends up getting like stabbed with the sword. He's like, oh my God. And then there's even more that happens, because this entire time, the king of Norway has been over here because Hamlet's real dad took over parts of Norway, and the king of Norway wants to get it back. So he's real mad, and the entire play he's just been in the background with like his little army over here. And finally, he rushes onto the castle where he finds all of these people dead, and Hamlet is on the ground like crying, and he's like, Horatio, you have to go off and tell my story, like the tragedy of the Prince of Denmark. And then Hamlet dies at the very end. And the Prince of Norway is like, what the fuck just happened? So, that's Hamlet. Thank you. I hope I get an A.